In a distant corner of the galaxy, where stars twinkled like diamonds on black velvet, the Galactic Council gathered to discuss a strange discovery. A team of explorers had stumbled upon an enormous structure at the edge of human space. The Council, made up of various alien species, was both curious and amused. They had always viewed humans as a primitive race, so when news of the structure arrived, they were quick to mock. "Look at this silly building," chuckled Zarnok, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 3 eyes. "It looks like something a child would make out of mud." The council chambers erupted in laughter. Most aliens believed they were far superior to humans, having advanced technology and cultures that spanned millennia. To them, humanity was just a young race struggling to find its place in the galaxy. However, Dr. Alara, a wise scientist from a respected species known for their intelligence, raised an eyebrow. "Wait," she said. "Before we dismiss it, we should investigate. There might be more to this structure than meets the eye." The other council members rolled their eyes but decided to send a small team of engineers to explore the site. After all, it would be easy to prove that the humans were nothing but a joke. The team arrived at the coordinates, and their ship landed softly on the ground. As they stepped out, the engineers were taken aback. The structure loomed before them, towering high into the sky. It looked rough and unfinished, made of materials they did not recognize. The surface had strange carvings that spiraled around it, glowing faintly in the dim light. "Primitive," one of the engineers muttered, shaking his head. "It looks like something from a storybook." But as they approached, they felt a strange energy pulsing from the structure. It was unlike anything they had experienced. It made them feel both uneasy and curious. The team decided to split up and investigate different sections of the structure. Zarnok and his companion, Lyra, moved towards a large door at the base of the building. It appeared sealed shut, but Zarnok was confident he could break it open. "Just a little push," he said, grinning. He charged forward and slammed into the door, but it didn't budge. Lyra laughed, shaking her head. Maybe it's not so easy after all. Meanwhile, Dr. Alara studied the glowing symbols on the surface. They resembled ancient scripts, but seemed oddly familiar. She pulled out her scanner to analyze the energy readings. To her surprise, the readings were fluctuating, suggesting that the structure was alive in some way. "Look at this," she exclaimed, calling over her colleagues. "This energy source is incredible. It's like nothing we've seen before." The engineers gathered around her, staring at the scanner in awe. For a moment, the laughter faded as they realized they were dealing with something potentially significant. Zarnok, still trying to pry the door open, grunted in frustration. "Who cares about energy? This is just a dumb building. We should be out exploring real planets, not wasting our time here." But Alara's excitement was contagious. What if this structure holds secrets about humanity? What if they've achieved something we haven't even thought of? The group began to argue, with some insisting that the structure was just a useless relic, while others saw it as a gateway to understanding humans better. As the debate heated up, a sudden rumble echoed through the air. The ground shook beneath their feet, and the engineers exchanged worried glances. "What was that?" Lyra asked, her voice rising. They turned to look at the structure. To their astonishment, the symbols on the surface began to glow brighter, pulsing in rhythm with the tremors. The door that Zarnok had slammed against began to shift slightly, revealing a crack of light. Alara's heart raced. "This is just the beginning. We have to find out what's inside." As the aliens prepared to investigate further, they had no idea that they were about to uncover the truth behind humanity's greatest secret. Little did they know, this primitive structure was more than just a building. It was a test, and humanity had built it to withstand any threat. The council's laughter would soon turn into shock as they realized that they had underestimated the very species they mocked. With the door now slightly ajar, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and tension. The alien engineers exchanged nervous glances, each one unsure about what lay beyond. Ilara, filled with curiosity, stepped forward. "We need to see what's inside. This could change everything we know about humanity." Zarnok hesitated, but finally nodded. "All right, but let's be careful. We don't know what we're dealing with here." As the team gathered their courage, they pushed the door open wider. It creaked loudly, echoing through the dark entrance. A wave of energy brushed against them as they stepped inside, feeling a strange warmth surround them. The interior was dimly lit, with glowing symbols lining the walls, mirroring the patterns outside. Inside, the structure seemed vast and complex. High ceilings soared above them, adorned with intricate designs that sparkled like stars. The air was filled with a soft hum, as if the very walls were alive. The engineers' excitement mixed with apprehension as they ventured deeper into the unknown. "Split up and gather data," Ilara instructed, her voice steady. "We need to document everything." Zarnok and Lyra moved to the left, while Ilara and another engineer, Varek, went right. The atmosphere felt charged, and every step echoed through the silence. As Zarnok and Lyra explored, they stumbled upon a large room filled with strange machines and artifacts. The devices looked ancient yet strangely advanced. "What are these?" Lyra wondered aloud, brushing her fingers over a glowing panel. Suddenly, the panel lit up and the machines began to whir to life. Zarnok jumped back, eyes wide. "Did you touch that? What did you do?" "I don't know," Lyra exclaimed, but her voice was filled with excitement. The machines activated, displaying images and symbols in the air, showing scenes of human history, pictures of cities, inventions, and battles. "Look," Lyra pointed at the holographic display. "It's showing how humans have advanced over the years." Zarnok squinted at the images, realizing that these primitive beings had created incredible technology. "This is amazing." "But how?" he whispered, his earlier bravado fading. Meanwhile, Ilara and Varek had found another room filled with strange orbs that floated gently in the air. "What are these?" Varek asked, reaching out to touch one. The orb glowed brighter at his touch, and suddenly a holographic map of the galaxy appeared. Ilara gasped. "It's a map, but it's showing places we've never seen before." The map pulsed with energy, highlighting routes and locations that seemed to shimmer with potential. Could these be hidden human colonies? Varek wondered aloud. Or maybe even more structures like this one? Back in the first room, Zarnok and Lyra watched in awe as the display shifted to show images of humanity's defenses, showcasing ships and weapons. The gravity of their earlier mockery hit Zarnok hard. "We thought they were weak, but look at what they've built." Suddenly, a loud alarm blared throughout the structure, cutting through the excitement like a knife. Red lights flashed, and the ground trembled again. The engineers exchanged panicked glances. "What's happening?" Lyra shouted over the noise. Ilara and Varek hurried back to the main room, their faces pale. "We need to leave now!" Ilara yelled. "Something's triggered the security system." As the team rushed toward the exit, the walls began to shift, closing off pathways and blocking their way. Panic set in. "This is not good!" Zarnok yelled, pushing against a wall that had just sealed behind him. "We need to find another way out." With time running out, Ilara scanned the room, her mind racing. "There has to be a way to override the system. We can't get trapped in here." Lyra, still at the glowing panel, noticed a sequence of symbols lighting up.
"Wait!"
"I think this is a control panel. If I can input the right codes, maybe we can stop the alarm." As Lyra frantically worked the controls, Zarnok and Varek stood guard, their hearts pounding. The structure hummed ominously around them, the energy building to a crescendo. With a final push, Lyra entered a series of symbols. The alarm suddenly stopped, and the lights returned to their previous glow. "I did it!" she cried, relief washing over her. But as they began to celebrate, the ground shook again, stronger than before. "This place doesn't want us here!" Varek shouted, his voice tinged with fear. They needed to escape, and fast. Little did they know the structure was testing them. It was not just a building, it was a challenge, and the true adventure was only just beginning. After managing to stop the alarm, the alien engineers took a moment to catch their breath. The air still buzzed with tension as they exchanged worried glances. The structure felt alive, almost sentient, and they knew they had to be cautious. "Let's move," Ilara urged, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We need to find a way out before it decides to trap us again." The team quickly made their way down a narrow corridor that opened up into a vast chamber. It was dimly lit, and the walls shimmered with strange symbols. In the center of the room stood a massive pedestal, topped with a glowing orb that pulsed with energy. "What is that?" Lyra asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Ilara stepped closer, her heart racing. "It looks like a power source, but I've never seen anything like it." Zarnok moved to her side, squinting at the orb. "Maybe it's a way to communicate with the structure," he suggested. "Or perhaps it controls everything inside here." As they approached the pedestal, the orb began to change colors, shifting from deep blue to bright green. The symbols on the walls responded, lighting up in a beautiful dance of colors. It was mesmerizing. Should we touch it? Varric asked hesitantly, glancing at the others. What if it activates something dangerous? Let's just be careful, Alara said, reaching out slowly. As her fingers brushed against the orb, a wave of energy surged through her. She gasped as images flashed in her mind. Visions of humans working together, building incredible machines, and exploring the stars. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber, resonating deep within them. Welcome, seekers of knowledge. You are here to learn. The engineers froze, their hearts pounding. Did you hear that? Zarnok whispered, wide-eyed. Yes, Alara replied, her voice trembling. It's speaking to us. The orb glowed brighter and the voice continued. You have come to understand the truth. Humanity is not primitive. They have created wonders beyond your comprehension. You are to witness their legacy. What does it mean? Lyra asked, stepping closer to Alara. What legacy? The orb projected a holographic image above them, showing scenes from human history, battles fought and won, art created, and technologies developed. It highlighted their ingenuity and resilience. Humans have faced great challenges, the voice explained. They are builders, dreamers, and warriors. This structure was created to protect their greatest achievements, to hide them from those who might wish to destroy them. The engineers exchanged glances, their previous laughter now replaced with awe. Zarnok, who had mocked humanity just hours before, felt a pang of guilt. They're not what we thought, he murmured. No, Alara agreed. They are much more. We have underestimated them. As the images continued, the orb revealed a shocking truth. Hidden fleets of human ships, advanced technology that rivaled anything the Council possessed, and plans for exploration that extended far beyond their current understanding. Is this real? Varric asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Are these truly human creations? Yes, the orb confirmed. They have built a network of defenses ready to protect their home and their people. You must respect this knowledge. The weight of their mission suddenly felt much heavier. They had come to mock, to prove human inferiority, but instead they were confronted with a legacy of strength and innovation. Just then, the ground shook again and the lights flickered. We need to move! Lyra shouted, her voice rising in panic. It's getting unstable! Alara nodded, but her mind raced with the implications of what they had discovered. We can't leave yet. We need to gather as much information as possible. This could change everything! Change what? Zarnok asked, glancing nervously around the room. If this place collapses, we'll be trapped. But think about it, Alara insisted. If we can document what we've seen, the Council will have to rethink how they view humans. This could be the key to a new understanding. With the orb still glowing, Alara and her team began to take readings and gather data from the pedestal. They worked quickly, recording everything they could. The structure's energy pulsed rhythmically, almost encouraging them to continue. Suddenly, another rumble shook the ground, more violent this time. Dust fell from the ceiling and the walls began to crack. Hurry! Zarnok yelled. We can't stay here much longer. With their equipment in hand, they raced back through the corridors, determined to escape before the structure sealed them in forever. They had come to mock, but now they were on the brink of a revelation, one that could reshape their understanding of humanity and the galaxy itself. The truth was far more complex than they had ever imagined. As Alara and her team sprinted through the corridors of the mysterious structure, the rumbling continued, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. They could hear the ominous sounds of metal creaking and walls collapsing in the distance. Each step felt heavier as urgency gripped their hearts. Faster! Lyra urged, her voice trembling with fear. We have to get out before this place falls apart. Zarnok glanced back at the glowing orb, still pulsing with energy. We can't just leave it! This knowledge. It's too important! We have to prioritize our safety first. Alara replied, feeling torn. The information they had uncovered was groundbreaking, but they couldn't risk their lives for it. We'll come back for it later. As they reached the entrance, the heavy door loomed before them, still ajar but now surrounded by flickering lights and falling debris. The team pushed through, emerging into the fresh air of the alien landscape. They took a moment to catch their breath, their hearts pounding from both fear and exhilaration. Did we make it? Varric gasped, glancing back at the structure. Dust swirled in the air, and the sound of collapsing metal echoed behind them. Yes, Alara confirmed, her gaze fixed on the structure. but it won't last much longer. We need to get back to the ship and report what we found." As they hurried back to their vessel, a sudden brightness lit up the sky. The team looked up to see several small ships descending rapidly from above, their sleek designs glinting in the sunlight. The alien engineers exchanged confused glances. "Who are they?" Lyra asked, her eyes wide. Before anyone could answer, the ships landed gracefully nearby and figures emerged. To the engineers' astonishment, they were humans, dressed in practical gear, with expressions that showed both determination and curiosity. "What is going on here?" One of the humans, a tall woman with a commanding presence, asked as she approached. Her name tag read Commander Hayes. Alara, still in shock, stepped forward. We found something amazing inside that structure. It's full of human technology and history." Commander Hayes' eyes narrowed, a mix of interest and concern crossing her face. "We've been monitoring this area. The structure has been dormant for centuries, but it's clear that it's active now. We need to assess the situation immediately." Zarnok, still reeling from the revelation of humanity's capabilities, interjected. "You have no idea what's inside. The technology is advanced, and it shows that humans are not what we thought." The commander raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you mean?" "We believed humans were primitive," Ilara explained, her voice steadying as she spoke. "But this structure holds evidence of their achievements, their defenses, and their innovations. They have built a network that can rival anything we possess." Commander Hayes crossed her arms, contemplating their words. "If that's true, we need to get inside and evaluate the situation. But it won't be easy. We've picked up unusual readings coming from the structure. It might not be stable." "Stability isn't guaranteed," Varric added, glancing nervously at the structure. "It may collapse at any moment." "Then we need to act fast," Hayes said decisively. She turned to her team. "Prepare for an immediate exploration. I want everyone geared up and ready to go. We need to understand what we're dealing with before it's too late." Alara and her team exchanged glances, relief washing over them. "Can we help?" Ilara offered. "We know the layout. We might have valuable insights." Hayes nodded. "Your knowledge will be crucial. Let's work together." As they prepared to enter the structure again, a sense of hope began to blossom within Alara. Perhaps this was a chance for cooperation, a way to bridge the gap between their species. They had come to mock, but now they stood side by side with humanity, ready to uncover the truth. Inside, as they navigated the corridors once more, the atmosphere was tense, yet electrifying. They reached the central chamber, and the orb remained lit as if waiting for them. "Gather around," Hayes instructed her team, her voice steady. "Let's see what this thing can tell us." As they formed a circle around the pedestal, the orb flared to life again, projecting holographic images of humanity's past, present, and future. The room filled with colorful scenes of innovation and struggle, showcasing humans working together to build a better world. Ilara felt a thrill as she watched. This is incredible. They have fought for their place in the galaxy just as we have." The engineers and humans began to share stories, learning from one another. They discussed their hopes and fears, realizing they were not so different after all. As the holograms continued to dance in the air, Commander Hayes looked around at the diverse group. "We stand on the brink of a new understanding," she said, her voice filled with determination. "Let's not waste this opportunity." Ilara nodded, her heart swelling with pride. They had come to belittle humanity, but now they were on the edge of something greater. Together, they would explore the legacy of the past and forge a path for the future. Inside the central chamber of the ancient structure, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and anticipation. Ilara and her team stood alongside Commander Hayes and her crew, gazing at the glowing orb as it projected vivid images of human achievements. Each scene brought new revelations about the resilience and creativity of a species they had once dismissed. As the holograms flickered, Ilara felt a sense of awe wash over her. "Look at how they've adapted," she said, pointing to an image of humans exploring distant planets, their faces full of determination. "They have pushed the limits of what's possible." Hayes nodded, her eyes fixed on the projections. "Humans have always been explorers at heart. They fight against the odds and strive to create a better future." Just then, the orb shifted, displaying a timeline of human history. It showed moments of triumph alongside struggles, wars fought, peace treaties signed, and incredible discoveries made. The group watched in silence, absorbing the weight of what lay before them. "Why didn't we see this before?" Lyra whispered, her voice filled with regret. "We only saw their flaws. Sometimes it takes a deeper look to understand," Hayes replied, her expression serious. "We must remember that every civilization has its strengths and weaknesses. What matters is how they rise after facing challenges." Suddenly, the orb emitted a low hum, and the images changed again. This time, it revealed a network of hidden human ships, each one equipped with advanced technology that could rival any alien fleet. The realization struck everyone like a bolt of lightning. "Do you see this?" Zarnok said, disbelief etched across his face. "They have a hidden fleet!" "Yes," Alara replied, her voice steady. "And they have the ability to defend themselves. They are not to be underestimated." The orb then displayed a scene of a diverse group of humans, working together in harmony, their expressions filled with hope. "Unity is their greatest strength," Hayes remarked. "They know that collaboration is key to survival." As the team continued to observe, the chamber filled with energy and determination. Each member felt a shift in perspective, a growing respect for the species they had once mocked. They realized that humans were more than just a primitive race. They were a force to be reckoned with. "What should we do now?" Varric asked, his voice low but filled with curiosity. Hayes looked around at her team, then back at the engineers. "We need to share this knowledge with our people. The Council must understand the truth about humanity." Ilara nodded. "We can work together to create a plan. Our two species can learn from each other, strengthen our bonds, and build a future based on respect." "Exactly," Hayes agreed. "We need to be allies, not adversaries. Together we can face whatever challenges lie ahead." Just then, a loud rumble echoed through the chamber, shaking the ground beneath them. Dust fell from the ceiling and the orb flickered ominously. "We need to get out of here!" Lyra exclaimed, her voice tinged with panic. Alara quickly gathered her team. "Let's move! We can regroup outside!" As they hurried through the corridors, the structure trembled around them, making it clear that time was running out. They reached the entrance, bursting into the open air just as a large section of the ceiling collapsed behind them. They barely escaped the structure as it began to crumble. Catching their breath, they turned back to see the once majestic building collapsing in on itself. It was a bittersweet moment. The place held ancient knowledge, but it had also served as a catalyst for change. "Now what?" Zarnok asked, still catching his breath. "We report back to the Council," Hayes said firmly. "We tell them everything. They must understand what we've discovered today." Alara felt a surge of hope. "And we'll make sure they see humanity not as a primitive race, but as allies and equals. They deserve our respect." The engineers and the human crew stood together, united by a newfound understanding. They exchanged ideas and experiences, each side eager to learn from the other. As they prepared to depart, a sense of purpose filled the air. They had come to mock humanity, but they were leaving with a profound respect for what it meant to be human. "Let's make this a new beginning," Commander Hayes said, her eyes shining with determination. "Together we can build a future that honors both of our histories." With hearts full of hope and minds set on the future, the group boarded their ships. They were no longer just engineers and soldiers, they were pioneers of a new era. As they soared into the sky, the sun illuminated their path, marking the start of a journey filled with collaboration, understanding, and mutual respect. They would carry the story of humanity forward, ensuring that it would be recognized not for its flaws, but for its incredible spirit. This was just the beginning. Together, they would forge a new alliance and explore the cosmos, side by side.